Ow!
Greetings, YouTube. This is Dad Crash, better known as Brandon, and welcome back to another Quantum Leap review. Just before I start, I'd just like to let you know that if I sound a little rough or might start coughing, it has to do with an issue with my allergies. It's causing some post-nasal drip that's been giving me three kinds of hell the last few days. So, pay it no mind. Also, if you hear any noise in the background, it's just my washing machine going at it with my clothes. So, first of all, let me go ahead and apologize for being so late with this. Had a lot of things going on. Chiefly, my birthday was yesterday, and so, but it gave me an opportunity because to share my Quantum Leap experience with a friend who had stopped over by my place, and we got a chance to watch the most recent episode together. And so, everyone, please comment, rate, subscribe, and so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. So this particular episode was very interesting timing as it came out on Halloween. Was very much a scary, creepy little episode, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And it really, once again, kind of felt like it had more of the spirit in which Quantum Leap was made, focusing on people, their regular, their regular lives, regular people, and even though this one was really kind of a bit of a head spinner because it came off as sounding really supernatural, but we'll get into that in a moment. So Ben leaps into a priest who's come to call in a house in Covington, Maryland, and it's the year 1934. This family has a daughter who they believed is possessed by a demon. Her name is Daisy. And, of course, Ben, he's a priest in this particular life he's leaped into, though he himself is not religious. However, he does happen to have a good grasp of Latin, which priests, I guess Catholic priests, do speak in certain rites of exorcism, something that's rarely ever done. He starts to believe at first that something's amiss because he doesn't believe there's any such thing as demons. But when he goes into the house, he starts seeing this girl, the way she's acting, the things that have been written on the wall, and the strange smell in her room. They start wondering, what's going on. This family is deeply religious. But a doctor comes to call who starts trying to give her drugs to help her sleep and whatnot, and believes, there's no such thing as demons, and he's surprised that that Ben, being a priest in this life that he's leaped into, actually kind of agrees with him, saying there's got to be some logical explanation for all this. And sure enough, as things progress, he finds out what's going on. They have the head of the house is a lady who, an older lady, who is the little girl's aunt. And, well, she's not really a little girl, she's like 18, but she's the girl's aunt. And then you have her son, who's kind of was a self-made man, but when the Great Depression hit, he's kind of lost a lot of his money and is very, very proud, even though his mom doesn't want her to, his aunt, doesn't want him to just keep going along and being depressed and maybe get into sales like his brother, who's another person in the house, and then of course there's his mother, who's really, really worried. But as things progress, you realize that some things don't fit, like Ben finding strange rotten fish under the bed and saying, well, this is at least the reason for the smell, and find out that the maid, a lady, I guess she's Jewish, had put that fish in there. Is supposed to be some sort of something to scare off what's called a dybbuk, which is an evil spirit according to Jewish lore. And then you also start realizing that this whole deal about the aunt's inheritance is going like deeper than anyone thought. But then before anything can happen, the aunt suddenly turns up dead on top of I think it's a mantle inside the girl's room. But the girl can't remember anything that happened. I think it was because the doctor had knocked her up with some sedatives and knocked her out with some sedatives, excuse me. And And so she was probably asleep when it happened. So they wheel her body out, and they're still wondering, what's going on. The whole family is just even more distraught. And on top of everything else, Addison only is able to communicate with Sam for a brief moment before suddenly communication is shut off. And when she goes back to Project Quantum Leap, even Ian can't figure out what's going on. It's been trying to figure out they're still able to monitor Sam's vitals and whatever through the imaging chamber, but they just can't seem to communicate with him. So they're going through the archives and finding out things that happened to try to figure out, what he's there to do. And she did say that Ziggy said there was an 80 some odd % chance that he was there to save that girl's life because at 12:06 that a.m. that morning, the girl ends up dead. This is the priest failed to exorcise the woman. And what happens later on is that they have the brother of the head of the house, the guy. He is constantly trying to give some gin. Was it gin? Yeah, I believe it was gin for Ben to drink, and he turns it down. But finally, after all the stuff that's been going on, he's feeling distraught and unable to communicate with Addison. And so he drinks it, and then suddenly he starts seeing crazy things, especially when the girl has one of her spells and starts hallucinating herself. And so he passes out, and then kind of has a vision of Addison, sort of his subconscious, trying to put things together. Because when he learns about the issue of the money and the inheritance, he realizes somebody's after the money, especially when he finds out that the fish was there, which the lady thought was the stink of the demon or whatnot. And he realizes somebody wants money. He said, "Well, well, how are they getting into the room? Because every time they're out of the room, something weird seems to happen. The girl's screaming and having another one of her fits." And they realize, well, this is an old house, and one of those creepy old houses probably has hidden passages. And they find one behind her wardrobe, and so they basically, as Sam decides to get into the whole deal with being a priest and gets the whole family together, and then basically the girl pretends that she's dead, and I guess I don't know how Ben was able to how to make her the doctor not feel her pulse. I think there was such a way to do that. If you put your arm under a pillow, I heard of that method, but however he didn't. I believe that was a slight plot hole there. He said the doctor couldn't tell her pulse, and they had the sheet over her body while they were waiting for the police to come and take the body away. The priest Ben starts acting very priestly and saying, we do what we do. So the girl started acting like she was alive again, and he calls forth the demon and points out, this person, tried to kill me, because later on they found that it was the uncle, the brother. He had the maid go and buy certain plants, and he started looking into the dictionaries that he was selling and found a plant what it was some sort of I forget what the name of the plant was, but it's a plant you could make certain type of poison out of, and he had been giving it to Daisy throughout the week, and that was the source of her having her fits. She was having hallucinations, and when Ben drank that, it wasn't until he drank that gin that he started having hallucinations as well. And so she freaked everyone out, Daisy, so by sitting up with the sheet over her, everybody thought she was just a moving corpse, and it pointed out the uncle, and the uncle started confessing, yes, I did it, I poisoned her stuff. And then he said, but he points out the wife, and she made me do it. Found out that the wife had wanted to just ditch the family and get the inheritance, and then and probably and kill them all, and then leave with her with him as her husband, saying, "Oh, we were in love." So even though Daisy did forgive her because she was very devoutly religious and a Christian, she of course the cops who had finally come to take the body away basically hauled the two lovebirds away and managed to solve the issue. Now, that was kind of an interesting whodunit in a very gothic setting, and a really creepy Halloween episode, and so I really did enjoy that. It was very much, like I said, a good return to form for Quantum Leap, very very keeping with the spirit in which Quantum Leap was made, having a very compact story of just ordinary people, and the time travelers, dealing with them to change history for the better. All the while, like I said, the B plot was just Addison kind of being helpless and talking with other members of Project Quantum Leap while Ian was trying to fix the problem, which was, keeping her from going back into the imaging chamber and trying to help Ben out. Interesting thing also was that there was this strange image that kept popping up while she was possessed. It would look like some black form. It was really creepy and ghostly, and it would appear and then vanish like it was a puff of smoke. And then while Ben was in the room, just kind of glad that everything turned out okay, but hoping that this is what he needed to do to leap. Suddenly, that black form comes up again and like freaks him out, and then all of a sudden, a form starts appearing. And well, they found also in the Project Quantum Leap, I believe they said they had found out what had been going on. Someone had been interfering with the transmissions of the imaging chamber. Well, you find out who it is. It was Janice Calavici all along in that weird form. And finally, it finally starts showing cohesiveness, and you see her like starting to sputter into existence, telling Sam that I'm here to help you, here to warn you. And then before she can tell him anything, did I say Sam? I meant Ben. She tells Ben, I'm here to tell you, I'm here to warn you. And then before that, she's like, oh no. And then Ben leaps. And so, never knowing, what she was trying to warn him about. So the plot is getting much thicker, and finally getting a few pieces of the puzzle put together. Because I was wondering what Janice was building in that last episode that we saw her. She had, of course, stolen her father's hand link and had it connected to some computer systems and was building some strange dome-like thing. But it was not very big, and I was thinking, well, it can't be an imaging chamber. Imaging chamber is huge. Even in the original series, where they had that episode where Sam and Al had switched places, that Al thought that Sam was suddenly getting his memory back, and Al thought he was like hyperventilating. It was like, "Are you all right? You're running out of air?" And he said, "No, there's enough air in the imaging chamber, to last me 6 months." And he was like, "No," he said, "I died of thirst before." And he's like, "Oh, Al, I'm getting my memory back." So yeah, enough air to last him 6 months. That imaging chamber is huge. And as a matter of fact, you get a brief glimpse of the imaging chamber, of course, in the first episode of Quantum Leap, and that thing's about as big as a football field. So, I didn't think that it was going to be an imaging chamber, even though I was looking on the plot description on Wikipedia just to try to put things together, and they said that she was building an imaging chamber. I just thought that was whoever wrote that Wikipedia entry, their speculation. It didn't look to me like it was going to be an imaging chamber, but it is, because you saw Janice standing there trying to communicate with Ben, and you saw her holding Al's old hand link with all the sparkly lights. So I thought it was really I thought it was very interesting to see. So it is definitely something that's going to keep me interested in what's going to happen next. So I don't know if they're going to continue this. But then again, in the very next episode. But then again, this new series of Quantum Leap does not seem to be keeping the audience in suspense for terribly long. Sometimes it does. I mean, that episode where you show Janice building that thing, they didn't show anything of Janice for like maybe I think 3 or 4 episodes afterwards. So I'm very keen to see if they're going to continue that in the next episode, like they did explain the whole the other leaper. I don't know. She was warning him, so I'm still thinking that they're going to try to bring a plot connected to the evil leapers, but that's just my speculation. So, this episode, like I said, great episode, especially a good Halloween-themed episode, really spooky, had great atmosphere, and it kept me constantly wondering, what is he going to find out about this? Because even I didn't think that this was a demon either. And I could ignore the what's the word? The inaccuracies about how, like, the Catholic Church deals with reports of demonic possession. And I know they put it through a very stringent test before they decide that, yes, this is genuine, instead of somebody maybe on drugs or having mental problems or something like that. But that's neither here nor there. The whole point of the episode was to make things scary and creepy and ramp up things, and have it also something that that Ben has really no understanding or expertise in, but knowing that something ain't right here. And even I felt that something wasn't right. I realized that somebody's doing something to this girl, and she that's like, I think she's tripping balls. And sure enough, after Ben drank that gin and started having those hallucinations, I was like, somebody put something in his drink. I was like, and I knew it. I was like, that's the nephew. But it was only half. But I was only half true. That whole thing with the mom just came out of left field. So it was very delightful to have a good little mystery. And like I said, it was a great episode. I think these last couple of episodes have really been a good coming to form for Quantum Leap, and I hope they keep up the good work. They did give it a little bit of a picture of what the next episode is going to be. He leaped into the life of some kid that escaped with his friends from some strange camp or school or something like that, hightailing out there in a stolen SUV. And it looked like it was the 90s, especially with the music that was playing. So we'll definitely see next week, and I hope you enjoyed this description. I'm personally, I think that it's about on the same level, a 7.5 out of 10. Great episode, really atmospheric, really kept me interested, and had a great bit of plot thickening at the end. It's going to keep me coming back for more. And as I said always, guys, I do this because I really hope that this will, build interest in the series. It's getting pretty good, and I hope that more people come check it out. And, I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. Comment, rate, subscribe, as I said before. And so thank you very much for listening to my Quantum Leap review. And as always, this is Dak Crash, better known as Brandon. And as always, guys, stay lucky and stay blessed. Take care.